We're still discussing the President-elect Bola Tinubu's call for national healing and reconciliation, a gesture the People's Democratic Party has described as hypocritical and unacceptable. Well, in right of reply, we have the APC's Ayobami Oyalowo to react to Mr. Frank Shaibu's comments and shed more light on Mr. Tinubu's call for healing and national reconciliation. Mr. Oyalowo, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, my first question to you is this. Can there actually be reconciliation and national healing without restitution? What happens to those who were victims of electoral violence, whose votes were suppressed? What happens to those that made the inflammatory rhetorics, who made videos, posted it on social media, threatening a particular tribe from coming out to vote in the election? What happens to all that?
Well, I don't know what you mean by posting videos of tribes. You see, this is the danger of a single narrative that you people in some particular area of the media have been pursuing. Because I have some social media account, and I could see that as we speak till today, the governorship election in Abia and Enugu has not been declared, and I don't know who you want to hold responsible for that. I'm also aware that in Kano, even though the NNPP won the governorship election, APC members suffered untold losses, and even one musician that is very popular who sang in Bond. So when we pursue these singular and wrong narratives, we give vent and room to continuous agitation. In a normal climate, when an election has been held, somebody will win and some people will lose. And when people have lost, you have only two options. Correct mode of seeking redress, which should normally be through the courts of law. So if people and reasonable environment, then we should allow the cause of justice take precedence. However, the president-elect, who is the winner and who will soon be sworn in on May 29, has done what a decent man will do, which is to say, let there be healing. We have a country to run. We have our lives to live. Do we really want to bring our life to a halt because some people have lost an election? Election that it was clear they were going to lose from day one when 5 of their governors never supported them. Election they were going to lose when they can't come together as an opposition. Because I keep saying, if you put their figures together, probably they will have won the election. But because they don't know how to be in unity, they keep making this inflammatory, they keep making this inflammatory statement, creating unnecessary issues all over the place and trying to burn down the country. If we, especially those people in the media, don't remember history, let me quickly bring you back to 1994. This kind of wrong narratives being pushed was what threw the country called Rwanda into a genocide, and 2 million lives were perished. So we must.
If you are talking about a wrong narrative, I would like to remind you of some tweets that we've had, even from the president-elect's inner circle. Well, of course, you know that we have a tweet from Bayo Onanuga, who is the spokesperson for the president-elect.
I know you are. I know the tweet you are talking about.
In politics.
I know the tweet you are talking about.
We've also had inflammatory tweets from Femi Fani-Kayode. These are people that are inside the president's inner circle. So if it's calling for healing and national reconciliation, shouldn't it start from his inner circle? Instead of blaming the media for everything that happens.
Okay. Do you want to know that for every action there is a consequence? Before Bayo Onanuga made his tweet, do you know what he was responding to? I'm sure everybody pretend they did not see when obese people went into what you call a Twitter space. And there they made all the statement that we are going to chase out the people that own Lagos. We're going to buy all their land. We're going to remove their obas. All of you pretend you didn't see that. That was the response to that tweet. But of course, whatever Bayo said is a good cane with which to flog him. However, Bayo said he spoke based on his own personal opinion, and that was not the opinion of the president-elect. So we must situate issues in context. Bayo responded to the things he saw that people were doing online. However, the president, and then when he responded, he said it again. He said, that was my personal opinion. However, the president-elect has said, election is now over. And you must also remember, Bayo made the tweet before the election. So now the elections are over. Should we continue to flog that issue? And the governor of Lagos State has gone around saying, look, let there be peace. He has visited, he started walking yesterday. I saw videos of him going to site where they were constructing roads and rails and stuff. So for me, the president-elect said, let there be healing. And I believe if election has been won and lost, let there be healing. But you need to go back to that social media yourself and go and check the kind of inflammatory comment being made by people who support the losing candidate and the kind of horrible things they are saying. So when you poke people in their eyes and then they respond, then it is easy to hold to the response and say they have said this. Oh yes, Bayo have said this. But all the nonsense things that have been said, go under the tweet of that Bayo that you are talking about and go and see the kind of horrible things that have been said to him. In fact, some even went as far as cursing his family and his children. So when you talk about this, everything is about action and reaction. I am not saying it is I didn't make such kind of tweet, but I'm saying when Bayo made his tweet, it is his own opinion. But the president-elect has said, and I'm talking on behalf of the president-elect right now, he said, let there be healing. Let us move on. Elections are over. Whoever is aggrieved, go to court. And that should be the right thing to do. If you don't go to court, what else do you want to do? Burn down the country? If we burn down the country, we all suffer for it. So we always like I said, we always have two options. First option is the correct option of going to court, pursue whatever you think you are aggrieved about. Or the other option, let's burn down the country. I think it is reasonable, it is sensible, and it is wise to always take the first option. Let's go to court and let the country move on. To me, that should be the right thing to do.
Well, Mr. Oyalowo, you did mention that it is tense times for Nigerians as it is right now. And the way that you're discussing this, it doesn't really seem reconciliatory. It seems very much like victim shaming in that you yourself said that every action has a reaction. We could start the chicken and the egg debate. Who started what? Who came first? The situation is a large chunk of Nigerians feel aggrieved. And your party is in a position in order to douse some of that tension, whether or not you think that it was created by other people. So what will the APC do other than saying that the media has created false narratives, other than saying that our eyes are playing tricks on us when we see videos circulating and we hear things, other than saying that our brains are playing tricks on us and that what we have seen has not transpired? What actionable things will the All Progressives Congress do to put a Band-Aid on this huge wound that, whether or not it was caused by you, it still exists? So burning down the country is not an option. What is the APC going to do, first of all? Are you going to call out some of the people for their personal their personal opinions and retrain them on where to air those personal opinions and when, and not to do it at a time when it's when it's very tense? What is APC going to do?
Well, what the APC will do, what the APC going to do is what the president-elect has laid down. He has said, let there be healing and let the country move forward. And I, for one, I subscribe to his advice. And going forward, we will speak with our own people. We will sit down as a party and then begin to plan how the transition will go. I'm sure when we take attention away from too much of the negativity, because everything is about narratives. If you continue to push the narrative of, oh, we have seen these videos and then it's all about Lagos. We forget that the Lagos election has been concluded and everybody have moved on in Lagos, but they have not concluded Abia and Enugu election. We will try and help them and see how they can conclude Abia and Enugu election, which has nothing to do with APC anyway. So we will see how that can be done, and then we will talk about these are the plans that the president-elect have, and then these are the issues that he wants to tackle within his first 100 days in office. When we move the conversation away from the negative to what are the positives to be expected, I am sure everybody will begin to understand the fact that election is a process, and the process has now been concluded. And then if you are aggrieved, which everybody understands will always happen in an election, when somebody loses, they will always have reasons, and there is no crime in being aggrieved when you have lost an election. However, when you have lost an election, the correct thing to do is to go to court and stop making inflammatory statements. You need to go and see some things that are being said today. I don't want to talk about these things again, because I'm on Twitter and I see things, even though these days I try to tweet as less as I can, because it has become like a jungle where some people just want to create unnecessary trouble. However, we will ensure that we begin to talk to Nigeria about the plan of our president-elect, so that we can have a harmonious way of looking at Nigeria. We cannot continue to dwell in the past that election has been won and lost, and then the only option is to look forward to what are the plans of the president-elect. How does he plan to tackle some of our problems? First and foremost, we're talking about fuel issue. We're talking about whether we're going to remove subsidy before this outgoing government, or it should be the first thing the new government does. Those are the issues we should begin to look at. Look at Lagos State, for instance. As soon as the election was done, the governor had made a promise. He immediately implemented the promise of 20% salary increment for civil servants. Those are the things I expect the media to make issues for. But no, we have to continue to talk about things that our eyes have seen, and we must continue to elaborate on it. I understand, but I think the job of the media is to bring healing. The job of the media is to speak peace. The job of the media is to bring unity, not to continue to exacerbate the fault lines and the things that divide us. We always can find those things that divide us if we look for it too far, but we can also always work on the things that unite us and bring way forward if we really want to focus on that. So the choice is actually open to all the arms of the media. What do we want to focus on? Is it the plans of the president-elect to bring prosperity to the country, to bring development to the country, to work on our infrastructure, to ensure that the economy begins to pick up, or we want to continue to talk about the things that have happened during the election? It's all up to us, really.
It's really up to us, and thank you so much for that advice on how we can do our job better. Now, while you're advising the media on what to focus on, I would also like to know if you advise your inner circle on what to focus on. This is a recent tweet posted about 17 hours ago from one of your inner circle, talking about the court case for the obedient. He says, as for your court case challenging Asiwaju, it is the joke of the century. It is not going anywhere, and you will come out crying. We shall spank you hard and flush you down the toilet, just as we have done in all the election. The message is simple and clear. Politics is for the big boys and not for the misguided, not for the rude, vulgar, vain, and deluded. Now that is from Femi Fani Kayode. Is this how to bring about healing and reconciliation? If you're advising the media, do you also advise your inner circle? Can they start the process?
Okay. I don't want to drag this issue. I will just tell you something very simple. I am not Femi Fani Kayode, I am Ayobami Oyalowo. However, since you have brought his tweet to my attention, as soon as I step out of this studio, I will place a call to him and then see how we can begin to talk about the plan of the president-elect. I do not have his brief, and I don't hold brief for him. However, I will make a call to him. He's an elder brother, he's older than me. So I will give him a call and say, they just told me your tweet on TV. I didn't even see it myself. However, I think from now on, what we need to start talking about is the president-elect's plans on his transition program, from the Buhari administration to the incoming Asiwaju administration and the things we intend to do for Nigerians to better the lot of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Ayobami, thank you. It's good to know that you would place a call and actually step in to try to douse some of that tension. Could we also advise that you place a call to MC Oluomo and some of the other individuals who were sidestepping? But moving forward...
Can I ask you a honest question?
No,
can I ask you a honest question?
No,
can I ask you a honest question?
Is going one
I
way.
don't have MC Oluomo's number. I have no relationship with him. So we need to be careful the things we say. You talk about MC Oluomo. I can begin to tell you other horrible people on the other side. So let's be guided, please. Let us be guided, please.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
I have no relationship with him. I don't know him.
Just like you said, we should talk about moving forward and the progress that the president-elect tends or is going to be bringing to the country. So could you expound on some of the things that the president-elect will bring into Nigeria?
First and foremost, we have, from the manifesto, we have what you will call the quick wins. Clearly, some of the first things he intends to do is to finally work on this issue that, although we hear some things again, so I don't know if this administration want to handle it, but one of the first we want to do is to ensure we unbundle this fuel issue so that there will no longer be subsidy and the corruption in that area can be dealt with first and foremost. Secondly, we have been able to earmark or plan that, look, Nigeria has a huge reserve of gas. And one of the things Asiwaju has promised to do is to ensure that we build a pipeline and compete with countries like Russia so that we can be one of the biggest gas exporter to Europe. So that when Russia decides to close the gas tap that he always does in ways to punish Europe, we can be the alternative to them. And for me, that is a huge plus in terms of revenue for Nigeria. And also, we also have so many other plans. I am sure by the time the transition committee of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu rolls out in the next coming weeks, you will see the plans that will be first 100 days, first 1 year, and so on and so forth. I don't want to talk about it because the team that he has in mind to work on it have already started working on it, and I don't think it is in my place to start talking about that yet. But I can assure you there are short-term plan, there are medium-term plan, and there are long-term plan, and all of this will begin to be unveiled in the incoming week when this inner team is unveiled and the whole world can begin to understand that this vision of renewed hope is not just on paper, but the reality of it will come to Nigeria, and the renewed hope will now be kickstarted. And by May 29, he has promised he will hit the ground running, and I have no reason to doubt him that he will hit the ground running come May 29 when he's sworn in.
Mr. Ayobami Oyalowo, thank you so much for honoring our invitation, attempting to douse the tension, and for trying to give us hope for the future. We do appreciate your input on Newsday.